Welcome to the basics of C++ program. So in this video we'll be discussing about basic input and output. Also we'll be writing our first program. So for output, what we use in C++ is the cout statement. So the syntax is as follows: you type cout and then you use two left shift operators, those are those two arrows, and then you open and close quotes. Within that quotes, whatever you write will be displayed on the screen. So you write whatever you want to print in that. And then again you have two left shift operators, and then you have /n within double quotes again. So the /n is the new line character. So let's say you have multiple cout statements. So, and you don't want them to be printed on the same line and make it all congested. So you put them on new lines. Okay, we will see how exactly the new line works in the coding part towards the end of this video. Also, you notice there's a semicolon at the end of the cout statement. So in C++, all statements end with semicolon. So that's something you have to remember. It's a common error. And how do we print calculated values? You can print cout, and then in quotes you're printing area is, so that's the text you want to display, and then you want to print a variable or a number AR. So AR, let's say, has the value of 3.14. So that's what will be printed. What will be printed is area is 3.14 is what will be displayed on the screen. We will see this later. So next we have other methods of new line. So there, as you can see, we're using /n, and there's like double quotes and all that. But there's another alternative to this, that is using endl. It is equivalent to /n, just less typing work. You don't have to include quotes, or there's no slash. It's just typing endl. We will see how to use endl in the next slide. So here we have simple input. So how do we take input from the user in C++? We use the cin statement. Here we use a right shift operator, and we have a variable name. So we'll see that. So example, let's say cout and enter a number. So that's the text you want to display, and then you're putting the cursor to a new line. And then cin a. So that will accept something from the user. So whatever he types on the keyboard will go into variable a. And so then you print cout, the number is a, and you use endl. So you can see I've used /n to in the first cout statement, endl in the second cout statement. Both do the same job, so you can use whatever you're comfortable with. So next we're going to see multiple inputs or outputs, or also known as cascading of input and output. So let's say you have to accept multiple values or print multiple values. You don't want to be using multiple cin and cout statements. Instead, we have a shortcut method for this. So let's see this example. We have cout, enter two numbers now, and there's a /n to put it to the next line. And then we have cin a, and again we put more shift operators, and then b. That's going to accept a and b in this very same sequence. So whatever he enters first is a, and then he'll press enter and go to the next line, and then he'll enter something else that will go into variable b. Similarly, on the cout, we use the two numbers r, and then we print a, and then we again use the cascade. Again we use the shift operator, left shift, and then we print b. So it's going to print cout, the two numbers r, and then whatever the value of a is, and then whatever the value of b is, and then there's a /n. That's how you take multiple inputs or outputs. So next we'll be going into CodeBlocks IDE to see our first program. Okay, so since we know how to use cin and cout, we are going to go ahead and write our first program on C++. So I have opened the CodeBlocks, the open source cross-platform for cross-platform IDE, and I'm going to go ahead and create an empty file, and I'm going to start writing, typing the basic startup syntax which I was given. #include iostream using namespace std, and then int main, and now inside this int main you can do whatever you want. So typical first program would be to print hello world. So let's go ahead and do that. Hello world, and we have /n at the end, just like that. And let's keep it this way. Okay, so this is the program, and now this is a very important part, is that you click save and you give a name to your program. I'm just going to say hello, and then I have to type the extension as .cpp, and .cpp stands for .c++. So if you do not give this extension, then you will not really get a C program that's going to be compiled. So you have to give .cpp after, before saving the program, and then you go ahead, click save. Now I have a window here that's .cpp program. I have it ready. So let me go ahead and build this. So yeah, as expected, we have an error. So what the error says is expected semicolon before the curly braces token. So as you can see, I have a C++ statement here that is cout hello world /n. But then all C++ statements are supposed to end with semicolon. There are some exceptions, but for sure cout has to end with a semicolon, so does cin. So cout and cin end with a semicolon, so I have to give a semicolon here. And now I'm going to save it and try to build it again. Hope it's error free. Yes, it's error free. So it says 0 errors, 0 warnings. I'm going to go ahead and run that, so we get our output hello world. So let's talk about how we can print this in multiple lines. We put a /n in middle here, hello /n world. The expected, what do you think the output's going to be here? So let's go ahead and run it. You can see we're getting it as hello next line world. That's what the new line character does. So let's try the same thing, but instead we'll use the alternative endl command. We're going to have endl, then world. I've got the quotes there, double quotes. Let's go ahead, save that, and click on run. Say hello world. So that's how you use /n or endl. So you can use whatever is comfortable according to you, and that's our first program, hello world. So once we're done with the hello world, let's look at our initial program. So the highlighted lines are the lines we can understand. So you can see the cout that says enter LBR, that is length, breadth, and radius, and there's a slash interpreted to the next line. And then we have a cin statement. It is cascaded, as in multiple inputs, and it accepts LBR in the respective sequence. And then we're doing some math, which you will understand a bit later. And then you have two cout statements that says the area of the rectangle is, and it displays a variable that is r underscore area. So once it accepts LBR, it's going to compute some value. So basically what happens is the rectangle's area will go into the variable called r underscore area, and that will be printed, and then there's a /n. Similarly, the area of the circle is, and then there is c underscore area and /n, and that's the end of the main function. That's how you use cin in cout. Now for a problem you could try out is display the following address in the following format. So try printing this address out. Use cascading outputs. So yeah, I want you to do it in one cout statement. Use /n or endl, that's your wish, and try getting the output in the following format. Thank you for watching.